we have to acknowledge, it has been a very difficult, super hot, job market. You need to be super pragmatic, when it actually, comes to hiring. Even though we all work remotely, we celebrate birthdays. We do, varieties of other team building events. Curiosity and the eagerness to learn is what is going to put developers actually ahead of all this technology.
Hi all, good morning. So today I have Sudhakar with us, who is a visionary engineering leader who is most effective when he is building and leading high-performance class teams, which can successfully transform technology from a research paper to a persuasive product. He thrives on driving business success through exceptional technology alignment by delivering IT-focused business strategies and implementing enterprise cloud models that include mobile solutions, big data strategies, and AI. Let's welcome Sudhakar on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where he will tell us what it takes to be a successful engineering leader, what he's learned along the way, and how we can learn from his learnings. Hi Sudhakar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Meenal. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course, Sudhakar. So can you tell us a little about your experience, where you work, and your position within the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work for Fidelity Investments. I'm a vice president of engineering. I run an engineering team who primarily focus on wealth management space, within Fidelity Investments. So a little bit about my career. I started my career as a software developer. Earlier in my career, I did varieties of front-end, back-end, middle-tier development. Later on in my career, I realized, I also have people aspiration. So I started managing a very small team, and eventually that grew to a very large engineering organization as I started growing.
Okay.
Very passionate about people, very passionate about technology.
Okay, that's interesting. So I would love to understand, just because you've been in the back end space, you've been in the front end space, you've even been in the full stack. So I think with technology, you get better at something, and then a new technology language comes in, like Ruby, there's Golang, there's Java, there's so many different languages. So how can, because you're a leader now yourself, how can software developers be proficient in languages and make sure that they're up to date with the different languages that are coming every day?
Right. It is just the passion that they need to have on technology. That passion, that interest, and that curious to learn. Those type of things would actually help them to, learn new things, right? You have rightly said, technologies and always a changing thing, right? So the curiosity and the eagerness to learn is what going to put developers actually ahead of all this technology.
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing this, Thakur. My next question would be is that you started off as a software engineer, but now you're leading a team. How is it like leading a team, especially when a lot of people are working remotely now? How do you make sure that the team is aligned on certain projects? How do you make sure that the team delivers on time? What does it take to be a leader when you're working remote?
Right. So now we have so used to it. We definitely, went through a learning curve. 2 years ago, when the pandemic started, some of the secret sauce, that I have, that I have actually experienced, right, in the last 2 years. Proper communication, among the team members, right? It could be through varieties of tools, right? So in Fidelity, we use Microsoft Teams, so we collaborate extremely well, through those channels, right? Always keep the team actually up to date. So that is actually one key thing. And do team building events, even through video calls, right? So we, even though we all work remotely, we celebrate birthdays. We do varieties of other team building events, just through the video. That again, brings everybody pretty much actually together, right? And then give the team a little bit of break in between meetings. So earlier in the during the pandemic, we were going one meeting to another meeting without breaks, and then we just realized, yeah, we should give a little bit of break between these meetings. So my next meeting won't start after like 5 minutes, from the previous meeting, or we try to, wrap up the meeting, much earlier. Those type of techniques actually take away the Zoom fatigue, right?
That makes sense.
So those are some of the things that I have learned, that I have implemented in the team in the last 2 years to have a successful remote working.
Okay, no, that makes sense. And I think Zoom fatigue and sitting in front of the screen, it's so detrimental, especially because when you've been using it for so long, eventually you have back issues, eventually you have eye issues, and you're like, what's going on? What is going on? Why am I feeling this way? Until you realize that, okay, sitting in front of a Zoom screen can actually cause a lot of mental stress. So I'm glad that Leaders IQ exists to make sure that the team is on the same page. They get that 5-minute break and it can put them in a new mood. So thank you for sharing that, Sudhakar. My next question, Sudhakar, for you would be is, considering you're a leader yourself, I'm pretty sure you do a lot of hiring for your team as well. What kind of characteristics do you look for people within your team to make sure that they would work together well, specifically?
Right. So there are a few things that I specifically look for. So one, there are set of technical skills that are actually required for the job. Definitely look for those technical skills. In the earlier part of the interview, we did discuss about technology being changing. So in that space, I actually look for more potential. Can this person actually come in and learn new language, for example. So I actually look for that potential when I actually evaluate somebody on the technical skills. And then the soft skills is what I actually look for. Even entry level developer, we do look for that soft skills. Today, you can be only successful if you work very well with others. That's how Fertility's environment is actually set up. You cannot be successful if you cannot work well with others. So this is something that we actually look for, during the interview process. How you're communicating, how you're collaborating well with others. How do you handle some difficult situations that you will end up going through? How do you influence others? So those all are some of the skills that we actually.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I think for the longest time, developers used to be on the back end, but now a lot of developers, like for example, there's a new position called the sales engineer, where you need to be a developer. Then again, you need to make sure that you can sell it to potential customers because you need to understand the technicalities of that product. So I think it's interesting because for the longest time, it was just the developers doing the back end work, but now developers need to have those good skills as well to make sure they can explain the product to other people. So thank you for sharing this, Sudhakar. My next question, Sudhakar, would be on the hiring process. So the companies these days are finding it hard to find the best IT talent. A lot of companies, usually it's like Facebook, Meta, for example, Amazon, who usually take away most of the candidates. But when it comes to smaller companies, but your company specifically, it's big. But how do you make sure you attract the best talent specifically? Because I think it's the war of the talent. Everyone wants the best. So how do you ensure as a leader that you get the best talent, people who will grow and learn within your company?
Right. So there are few techniques that I follow. I would actually give advice to other leaders as well. One, we have to acknowledge it has been a very difficult, super hot job market. You need to be super pragmatic when it actually comes to hiring. One, I actually always try to build a talent pipeline. When people reach out to me, via LinkedIn, even if I don't have a role, I would actually try to connect and I actually have that person on the pipeline so that when the next role actually opens up in my team, I actually reach out to that person. So that is something that I actually do proactively. And then the other thing that I do is kind of have a faster interview process. Yes, we don't skip certain things in the interview process, but I actually tend to push things faster during that interview process. For example, getting the feedback after the interview from the interview panel and giving that feedback back to the. I actually try to actually make it faster. Sometimes, my recruiting team is like super busy, dealing with a bunch of openings. I try to help them. I have my team to actually, help them. We don't mind reaching out to the candidates and schedule the interview. I don't, wait for somebody to schedule it for me, if that person is actually busy. So those type of pragmatic thing, that I do actually, helps actually attracting the right talents. And then the last thing that I would highlight is two innovative things that we have actually implemented, within my team, recently that actually worked out very well. One is actually going after master graduates who have prior work experience. Lots of companies have very good infrastructure to bring in freshers, but usually they actually go to the undergraduates. So what I started noticing recently is lots of schools, have students actually graduating from master's program, but they do have a couple of years of work experience. So going after that particular market actually helped. These people come in, they actually ramp up, super quickly, compared to the freshers that I actually hired. So that is something that I did proactively, that actually helped. The other thing that I have implemented proactively, which also helped, is going after the recent offer assignments. There are many companies, who hired people and then they went through a freezing cycle and then they said, sorry, we are actually rescinding the offers. These are technology companies. They already evaluated, these candidates, and they are extremely good technical people, and they are really, looking for the next set of opportunities. So we proactively reached out to those people, put them through the interview process, and we actually hired. This actually helped, not only helping those people, to actually get a job offer. This also helped promoting Fertility's brand in the job market. So
No,
those
no.
things we did recently, that really helped.
No, I think it cuts down the work as well because they've already been evaluated, and you definitely are a leader who's wearing multiple hats, helping your hiring team, making sure to schedule everything and making sure that everything's done in a timely manner. I think the best leaders are those that understand that they have to wear multiple hats, but then again, also help those people in their team. So thank you so much, Sudhakar. We love to keep things short. Our time is up. It was a pleasure learning about you, your experiences, how you started off as a software developer, and here you are working as a leader, helping people prosper in their career. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you so much for having me here.